Well, the movie Too Big to Fail, what are some of your takeaways? Other than they aren't too big to fail, other than that?
At one point in the middle of the chaos, someone said, act like this is going to work.
All the major players knew they weren't going to lend the money out. I mean, it had more than a half a molecule of brain because they know that the mob mentality and that the government forced many of the big institutions to take the money when they didn't want it. Wells Fargo being, I think, the most successful bank, and it was forced. Lehman Brothers, who was in the worst shape, didn't want to take the money and fought like hell not to go out of business. It was exactly what you experience yourselves. And it's great to have hope, because hope springs eternal. But there's a time when you gotta pack up your fucking bags and go home and start over again. And virtually, I won't say nobody, but almost nobody knows when that is. And you know when that is, when it's based on experience, when you've been through the gauntlet many, many, many times. And occasionally you do pack up too soon. In other words, quit too soon. And in the field of diamonds, sometimes you are right there. But knowing when to pack up is based on a whole myriad of bits of information. And but it fucked up. As I've told you, and I've told everybody since that happened, I would have let everybody gone out of business. We wouldn't have $20 trillion debt in America, deficit. A lot of things would be different. And then, arguably millions of people would have been out of work. And arguably they say that we might have had a Great Depression. I don't believe that myself. Because the ingenuity of the U.S. who brought on the catastrophe. Now, it's an interesting fact. In the Great Depression, in 28-9 to 30, actually till World War II started, Canada didn't have one single bank go out of business. Canada didn't. During the 2008 to 10, 11, 12 debacle, Canada didn't have one fucking bank go out of business. When banks were going out of business worldwide. Why do you think Canada, in their infinite wisdom, didn't go out of, and nothing happened to them? Well, their structure's different than the rest of the banking structure, and they're conservative, super conservative. Now, how many Canadians we got in here? Okay, well, Canadians normally use that as an excuse why QLA doesn't work. It's not true, but they'll use that as an excuse. And, of course, the greatest roll-up of all time was me fighting it out with the Canadian government. It wasn't a fair fight. It was me against the entire country. It wasn't a fair fight, because I ripped their fucking heads off. So don't tell me it doesn't work in fucking Canada, YouTubers, and we only have one Canadian. That's probably a good thing. But the structure of our financial institutions worldwide, especially in the United States, changed because of that, because of the bailout. Now, I'm virtually 1,000% sure that Trump won't be bailing out anybody over anything. Because he's a true supply demand guy. Not because he went to Peña, University of Pennsylvania, which is a supply demand school. In other words, let the marketplace tell you what the fuck. When the lines of supply and demand cross, that's the market. And with the repeal or the demolition or whatever the right word is for Frank Dodd, the economic program that was put in. It's interesting. The law or the laws are like, 15,000, 20,000 pages. Some of only about 60% of all those laws that were written have had the final approval yet. That means nobody's read them. Yet they're in place. They're law in America, which I find amusing. Anything else about? I can't remember if in the movie the guy that was playing the Secretary of Treasury crawled in on his knees. Did they show that? Yeah. That's apparently real. They also said if you don't do what we say, and I don't know if this was said in the movie, we're going to fuck you for practice. We're going to honest you and everybody in your family for the rest of your lives. So when you get crossways with the government, not just the U.S. government, but all governments, they can do some pretty diabolical things to you. So that's why almost everybody, except for the mafia and the gangsters, agree with the Justice Department. As I said last night, you're at the top of your game when you're being indicted, investigated by the Justice Department. And I have been, so I've been at the top of my game. Anything else about the move? Yes, sir.
I thought there was a good quote in there that kind of
really
summed up.
You don't tell me. You don't say. Ain't that terrific? Okay, go ahead.
There's a quote that's I think summed up their mentality. It said, "There's blood in the water. Let's go kill someone," and that really shows like their mentality when that shark or when the water or the blood hits the water, the sharks start feeding.
I keep telling you, success leaves clues, and you keep not wanting to believe. And the ruthless guys and gals, it's not just guys, but yeah, they're mostly guys out there, are tough as fucking nails. Haven't crossed swords with them for 45 years. And that's why the Dream Team is so essential to success, because they have they're not going to protect you. I don't get the wrong impression, but they will smell the blood. And if it's your blood, they'll smell it. And we've got to make some changes. And they know what to do. But not everybody. A lot of the Dream Team guys are going to be they're going to be more successful than you, a lot more successful, and they will have accumulated a lot more wealth than you, but they won't accumulate a big mega wealth. That's why you're able to get them on your Dream Team, because they want, their one more shot. I have a chairman of a deal here in the UK who's, you would recognize his name, and he's got a few bob, as they say here, a few million quid, but, he doesn't have 50 or 100 million. And so he wants one more shot at it before, they put dirt on him. And he's perfect for a change. He's the chairman of one of the deals. He's perfect for that because, he's got the experience, and he wants a taste, a big bite off the apple still. But even the weakest of the guys in that movie. And then when you head up a major financial institution in the United States, which means that it's probably a worldwide financial institution, there's nothing soft about you. They may talk to you nice, but you don't get to those positions. You don't get to be to be the head of Deutsche Bank or HSBC or any of those Citicorp. You just don't. You're tough, or ING, or any of those places. Some are tougher, and they've got a lot of scar tissue. Anything else about the movie? Any questions about anything else? Period.
I took away fear drives a lot of business decisions.
You're mighty right, as they say in Texas. And those guys know that fear is false expectations appearing real, but it still drives the decision. Because what the thought process is, not just if you came through here, I know that 99% of what I fear doesn't exist. I know that. 99, not 100. And when it happens to you, even though it's maybe 0.1%, it's 100%. It's like Lee Trevino getting hit by lightning 3 times. The odds of him getting hit by lightning a 4th time are a gazillion to 1. The guy doesn't go out when it fucking rains. even without a golf club in his hands. And so, even though they know it's, the odds are way, way against it happening to you again. I'm not talking about lightning, but about the fear in the financial institutions. They say, forget about it, Discretion is the better part of valor. I'll live to fight another day. But fear does drive. And that's why I spend so much time on it, being afraid and fear. And when you learn to control that, then even though the board's more experienced than you, you will drive them through your leadership skills, and then, i.e., or ergo, your employees. Remember I said a leader can't show hurt, can't show this, can't show that, can't show fear. And, these aren't combat situations, but some of the decisions that you'll want to make over the next few months, and for sure the next few years, once you get momentum going, will be not life and death. You'll think they're life and death. Because then, you're making yourself, you're pulling out 2, 3, 4, 5 million a year for yourself, and you get used to that. And then one deal or 2 deals that you may get involved with could take a big portion of your revenue away. And even though on a conscious level, you shouldn't think this way, on a subconscious level, oh, fuck, I won't be able to pay as many bonuses out. I'm the one that is the benefactor, the biggest beneficiary of the bonuses. All this happens on a subconscious level. And so then you start making decisions differently. And pretty soon it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you're absolutely correct. Fear does drive a good many of those decisions. Wrongfully so. And what did I say day before yesterday? The thing that you learn here that nobody else teaches, how to manage failure. And so some people would say, well, Dan, isn't that managing like the glass is half empty as opposed to half full? Why do you even bring that up? Well, the more you talk about it, the more you understand the decision-making process and how it can falter under pressure. Remember, the key to being a high-performance person is how you react under pressure. When the bullets are flying. It's easy when you're running towards the gunfire and killing everybody. But they're shooting back. They're shooting back. And, I'm not suggesting that you just go, slaughter everybody, but they're shooting back. And so how do you react when they're shooting back? And when the bank calls a loan, or interest rates change dramatically, or there's a major default, or like I give you an example where a mayor got ousted for corruption, and they retrospectively killed all the agreements he had signed, even the ones that weren't crooked. And we were part of one of them. So the zoning we got was undone. The financing we had, the construction loans, we had already started construction, and the fucking thing just died, and died in my arms. And things like that happen. Shit happens. Bad things happen to good people all the time. All the time. And when it happens to you, it's 100%. Okay, YouTubers.